In this video, I'll be going over the WYSIWYG editor built into OpenText. This is the editor through which you'll be making changes to all the text on your content pages. To access the editor, as a refresher, I'll start at the top of SmartEdit. When we click on SmartEdit, we'll see the departments list. When we click on the departments list, we'll be led to an alphabetized list of all sites within the project. When we click on the site we want, we'll be led to the home page, so long as we click Home. We can locate the site that we want to work with, navigate to it as you would within any web browser, click on the Open Page red dot, then click on Edit Text to open the editor. If we want to make changes to the headline, we would click and hover on this. It would say Headline. We can make changes. Has been changed. Click OK. And you can see that this headline has changed. I'm going to change this back. If I click on the red dot beneath that in the content section, I'll be led to this editor. And I'll go over this editor in more detail for the remainder of this tutorial. The editor shows you a visual layout of what's on the page, the current content. In this page, all we have are lists of links. So I'm going to create some space for myself at the bottom. The editor has all the same functionality as everyone's favorite editor in WYSIWYG, Microsoft Word. You can format text using these options here. You can perform actions such as undo, redo, copy, paste, and so forth here. And you want to avoid this section in the top right for the purpose that it clashes with external style sheets we use to format the page. So simply ignore everything from insert edit markup over to the right. You're not going to need any of that. If you want to undo, you can use this button. Redo will be immediately next to it. You can select all on the page, do a spelling check. You can copy, paste, and paste from Microsoft Word. A quick note about that in a moment. Paste as text, insert a horizontal rule, or insert a symbol. Going back to pasting from Microsoft Word uses proprietary language on the back end to format their text and add styling, indenting, and color to the text. This proprietary language does not work well for the internet, and it clashes immediately with HTML. For this purpose, the best intermediate step when pasting from Microsoft Word is to paste into MS Notepad. Notepad will remove all of the formatting for you, and you can paste it directly in here and format it using the options that I'm going to go over in a moment. If that's not an option and you have a lot of text to paste, or you're having to do this very often, a good amendment to your workflow may be to go ahead and paste it into Google Documents. Google Documents will use HTML as the backend language to format the text and is compliant with the internet. It is built to show up right within web browsers, and it'll work a lot better. So if you want to use Google Documents, that's an alternative thing to do. I'm going to add some text. I'm going to add some new text to play with, and then I'm going to show you some editing options that we can use to change that text. So I've got my text. I can make it bold, italics. You can add superscripts or subscripts. You can change the background color. Again, this may clash with some of the external style sheets, so use your best judgment there. You can clear the formatting of that text and turn it back into plain text. You can change the wrapping behavior, switch the text direction, add numbered lists or bulleted lists, change the indenting, or change the alignment. You can also use tables. You can add jump marks, which are used for internal navigation if you have more than one section in the page that you want to be able to navigate people towards. And then you can also insert or edit links and add images. Those are the two options that we're going to go over in the most detail in this tutorial for the remainder of the tutorial. If I want to add a link, I can highlight the text. Notice I've added the text first, and then I can click Insert or Edit Link. When I do so, I'm shown this menu option. The link that's going to be added is going to be queued up here. In order to add a page, which is a page within my project and within my site, I'll hit Select and go and look for it. If I want to add an asset, such as a PDF or a document, I'll select Asset and I'll go look for it. If it's to the internet, I'll just paste the link or type the link here. And if it's to an email, it will create a mail to that will open the client's default email and begin a composition. Notice that not all users are going to have default email clients specified within their operating system, so if you do a mail to, also include the plain text version of the email. So if, for example, you create a link called "click here to email me," be aware that not everyone is going to be able to see that email address. Not everyone has a default email client specified. If I want to add a page, I can click Page, click Select. Another dialog box will open, and it shows me some criteria to locate pages within my project, the most reliable of which is the page ID. You can also search by content or headline. So for example, if I click Banner, and I run the search by clicking Start, pages that have banner in the headline will display. I'm going to select this one, banner. Notice it queues it up here, so that means that's the page that's going to be linked to this link. This link will direct to banner. Now for now, I'm going to hit cancel to undo these changes so I can start over and show a different way of doing this. Let me take this opportunity to show you where you can locate the page ID. The page ID can be located by hovering over the open or close page red dot at the top of the page. This is the same dot you use to begin editing the page to begin with. The page ID is an auto-incremented field in the database, meaning that it increments automatically when you create a new page. The first page created within any project is page 1, and so on and so forth. So this page is the 698th page created within this project. So if I open this, click on Edit Text, open the editor, add some new text, and then I want to link directly to this page, I could perform sort of a nebulous search by the content or the headline, or I could direct my browser right to it by adding page ID as a criteria. So notice here it says you can add more search criteria to your query. I will add page ID, and I'll give it a value of 698. That way I know it's automatically going to find this page and no other page, simplifying my search and allowing me to make sure that I find the right page. It'll show me some details such as the last editor, the original author, the content class, and the workflow being the name of the site that I'm working on, as well as when it was edited and when it was created. If I don't do that, notice the title like About Us is going to render a very lengthy list of sites, of pages, and they belong to different sites. It can be very difficult to locate the right page. So it's always good when you're working to go ahead and keep a scratch piece of paper next to you and write down those page IDs so you can directly find exactly what it is you're looking for. Banner is queued up the same way it was before, and I click OK, and it adds it. If I want to add an image, I'll use the option directly next to Insert Link. Now let's go over one thing before we get to editing images. Let's say that this is a link. This time, for the sake of brevity, I will just go to internet and I'll type in google.com. So this link is going to go to google.com. If you want it to go to open a new tab, you can click and change the target behavior and change it to target blank. So I now have a link to Google that will open in a new tab. If you want to make changes to that link, highlight it and remove the link. The reason that you need to do this is to clear all formatting and make sure that the link directs the user to the right location. Now that I've gone over that, let me go over how to add an image. I can click Add Image, and I can add either from my asset folder or the internet. When I click Asset, I'm shown an option to either search my local machine or an asset from the asset folder, which we'll go over in a couple tutorials. I'm going to choose Local File System, which will open a browse window. I can browse to the folder where my picture is stored. It queues it up here. Click Upload. Notice that if nothing happens, it is working. And then it will next ask where I want to store this image. we want to store our image in assets dash the name of the site that you're working within. So for me, that's assets ITS. Click OK. It is now inserting the asset into that folder, and then it queues it up with its name. Click OK, and the image appears. Notice that it's very, very large, and so it wouldn't really fit in that section very well, and we'll go over that in its separate tutorial. To solidify the changes that we've made, we can either hit OK or Save. Save will save these changes as a draft and leave the window open for editing. OK does the same thing as Save, but it closes the window when it's done. Now these changes are saved as draft. We'll go over in more detail what saved as draft or waiting for release means when we talk about the publication structure of OpenText in the next tutorial.